Welcome, everyone. This is Jerry DuPaw with the Achieving the American Dream podcast here in Crystal Lake. And today I have a really special guest, Celeste Barr with eXp Realty. And she's a highly experienced realtor that has sold homes in the northwest suburbs of Chicago for over
35 years.
35 years.
Yep.
So we're very, very lucky to have you here today. And we actually met over a transaction recently, and she was very impressed about the different ways of us doing things.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to kind of talk about how we kind of met here.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. I would love to. Jerry made a phone call to me, and what was so funny is that when he called, he was already in my phone as a contact. Now, exactly when I initially talked to you, I don't even remember, but what I do know is when you called, understanding why you were calling, it just so happened I was backing up someone else's business. And when you called, the first thing you did was you shared with me that the buyer was going to be using a special program. And the program, in my eyes, was fascinating. And I mean that. That's one of the reasons why we're actually sitting here today, is because that program would make a number of people eligible, if you want to call it that. They would become eligible to purchase a home when in fact they may, in this market, because it's such a strong seller's market, most buyers are out there looking for a home. And even when they find one, because of their situation, perhaps it's because they're contingent on getting a mortgage, or maybe they're contingent on having a house that they have to sell in order to purchase. This special program that you offered is going to change that, because they're really going to be able to make a cash offer based on how this all works.
Right.
So I want to say that's the reason why I'm here. And I also want to say the reason more than that is the reason that we're doing this video is because I want this to be a video that my VIP clients, which are the people that I've already done business with, as well as people that are in my general sphere of influence, where people are maybe knowing who I am, but they don't realize why this is such a great moment. I really need you guys to just listen up, because Jerry is about to share something that I have not seen. And I mean this when I say, when you think about how long I've been in this business, to have a program that allows a buyer to purchase in this market and appear as a cash offer, it's like nothing I've seen before. Well, so I'm setting you up.
Thank you for that. That
yes.
was absolutely amazing. I was probably in your phone because I've been doing it a little bit less time, 24 years. So I'm sure at some point in between those years, we were connected on some transaction, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
But I appreciate the introduction, and it was very nice and kind words. The CEO of our company came up with a strategy because, I think I know he was sick of hearing us loan officers saying, we have so many pre-approved buyers, but they keep losing the bid, right?
Right.
There's multiple offers on homes, and someone that has to sell a home might find this market impossible, or think to themselves, I can't even do it because I have a house to sell. So they're not going to take an offer with a contingency of selling a house, especially maybe in the area they want to buy. Some areas are like super, super desirable in certain school districts. And so when a house like that pops up on the market, it goes very quickly. And sometimes people make offers on those homes before they even see it, I've been seeing. Yeah. So you got to have a really strong strategy. And if you think to yourself, I have a house to sell, so how would I ever do that? Especially if you need to sell that house to qualify. So we came up with a solution, and it's our purchasing partner with our program called CashReady. So we have a hedge fund that has, I think the proof of funds letter said something like $27 million in it.
Yes.
Right. So we actually, if you have a house to sell, we will actually go ahead and buy that house for you cash. Like, we will be the buyers.
The purchase house, the one you're purchasing.
The one that you want to purchase.
Yes.
We will make the offer on your behalf. Whatever you want to offer, obviously, we'll set up a contract. It will be cash, and we will actually be listed as the buyers on the contract. There's two different ways to use this program. So this is the most aggressive way, especially if you have a house to sell. I mean, when a seller looks at a contract and it's all cash, and it can close in 2 weeks, compared to maybe some other offers that maybe have a mortgage contingency or an appraisal contingency. This gets rid of all the contingencies, a full cash offer, and we will close at a house within 2 weeks and buy it for you. We want to see you that you list your house within a certain period of time. I think it's 7 days.
Yep.
And we want a schedule done with your realtor on every 21 days on where you're going to lower that price down, just because we don't want to be owning this house super long for you, because honestly, when we close on that cash buy, you can move into the house. So it gives you also the ability to take your sweet time moving, because it's really stressful for people sometimes. They have to do everything in one day, usually.
Right.
They have to sell their house and then buy the next one and do all the moving in one day. This makes that eliminate
the transition is much easier.
Yeah, this makes the transition amazingly much easier. Your offer looks very strong to the seller, and then once your house sells, you would buy the house back from us at the exact same purchase price as you bought as we agreed to with the seller, and you get the regular same mortgage as you would have. Nothing's different with the mortgage or anything. We just had to wait for your house to sell, so you had the proceeds and you could qualify for the mortgage. So it's fascinating the way that works. Now that's the more risky program for us. That one's more expensive, and we're very transparent on how this works. So the fee for that option is 1.9% of the purchase price. But if you think about the market, and especially the market that you're probably buying this house in, that's very desirable, you're probably going to make that up within the first year, if not the first 6 months, with appreciation itself. And it would have been a house that you would have never even had a chance at unless we had offered you this program. Now there may be first-time home buyers looking to buy in a desirable area, or maybe you don't need to sell your house to qualify. We have another way that's called CashReady Flex, and that's much cheaper. That's 0.5% of the purchase price is the cost for that. But in that scenario, we're going to back your offer with cash. So you're going to be listed as the buyers on the contract, but in the contract, there will be a rider at the end that says, for any reason whatsoever, we're going to step in and buy this house for cash if it doesn't close on time. 99.9% of the time we close on time, but if for some reason something happens and something's delayed, we're still going to step in and buy the house for cash, and then the program would convert to the cheaper one to the more expensive one if we had to do that. But like I said, 99.9% of the time, we've been doing this for the last 2 years. This just works out where it makes your offer look super aggressive, because the offer has no finance contingencies and no appraisal contingencies.
Well, and generally speaking, what people probably may be asking, and I'm just going to put this in there, is when you are discussing what is your ability to purchase, what's your, perhaps what is your max amount that you can afford, I would imagine one of the things you should be hearing is you are not shopping to your max price. It's more important, if you're wanting to buy, to actually have a limit at maybe $20,000 or $30,000 less than what you can afford. Because what you're going to end up doing is, if you are in a multiple, even in a cash offer situation, you may be bidding over that list price. So kind of give yourself a cushion, and say, okay, if I can afford X, take off 20 or 30,000, because most chances, I'm just going to say this, we are seeing many offers that are coming in anywhere from 10 to, I had one offer this year so far, 55,000 over listing price. And I'm sure that there are other people out there that can give you even a more extreme example. But what I hope you understand is we're trying to get you into a home that, because it's a cash offer, a seller's agent is going to be giving consult to their seller and saying, this is a done deal. This is a for sure thing. There's no appraisal involved on a cash purchase typically. In this particular case, when you have a buyer who is going to be getting a mortgage, they can still have a term in there that says that they will get a mortgage, they will have a choice of getting a mortgage, and there will be an appraisal that's attached to that mortgage, but the purchase is not affected by the mortgage appraisal. So it's very helpful.
It's very powerful to a seller to present it to them. And everyone else, usually, unless someone else has the full cash to purchase the house, their offer is not going to be that aggressive.
It would be nice if we all had somebody in our family that was like, oh, sure, I'll put the money up front for you, but that's not very likely. As lenders,
we're only looking at payments that pull up on your credit report. When we're qualifying you for the new housing payment and whatnot. There's other things in life, obviously, that we don't look at, like, your insurance or your vet bills or your things like that. We're not seeing any of that other stuff. So it's really important that you do your own budget and know what your max payment is and what you'll be comfortable with, because a lender could give you a pre-approval letter for much higher than what you want that payment to be. And it's very possible, just because you're approved for that amount doesn't up to that amount, right? So
I totally agree.
we always want everyone to be successful in their home ownership goals. You may have heard, I want to just kind of touch on, you may have heard, because we're talking about appreciation, housing values going up, and you're probably hearing some stuff in the media, houses are going to go down, or the price of homes are going to go down, or they're going down, here or there. So real estate is very local, right?
Yes.
And we're in the Midwest. So our market has always been, if you look at a trend, the strongest. But other markets, things can happen where prices do go down. Like here's an example, Florida, insurance costs have gone way up because of the way flood insurance and homeowners insurance there is covered, and the risk is spread out differently. It used to be the risk for that insurance, for their costs, was spread out throughout the whole country. The whole nation kind of took on the burden. That changed about a couple of years ago in Congress, and now the whole burden of that risk has to be only for the residents of Florida. So their insurance costs unexpectedly went much higher than they've ever been used to. And unfortunately, it did cause a wave of foreclosures because there was the people living paycheck to paycheck that couldn't afford double or triple insurance costs. And it caused more listings to come on the market. And, when something like that happens, obviously it's very local, but the media catches that, whatever it was, 6% decline, 8%, I don't even think it was that much. I think Florida was maybe down 6% or something like that, because of how much inventory there is. It's all supply and demand. But that's the first headline they'll use, and try to, what is it called, clickbait? So,
What's the hook?
Right.
Well, the hook is.
Exactly. It's all, supply and demand based. And to be honest, here in our county, in our northwest suburbs of Chicago, southern Wisconsin, we have a lack of inventory. There's no question about it.
Yeah, speaking of that, we just actually received a graphic. It was a graphic for the entire United States. And the highest, or should I say the lowest amount of inventory in the entire country is Connecticut. And the second is Illinois. We are down 64% from May of 2020 as far as our inventory. Now, you'll hear people talk about, well, we're considering, there's a chance that our inventory may go up, that we might have more inventory, but 64% is a really low amount of inventory. It's going to take a while before we even get close to anything that would be considered a buyer's market. We're in a seller's market. And speaking of which, some people, when you watch a video like this, and we're talking about the difference between what is a seller's market, what is a buyer's market, I think people need to know a seller's market is when we have less than 6 months worth of inventory. And how they base that is they simply say, if no new home came on the market between now and whenever, how long would it take for us to run out of inventory? And in some cases, our inventory is low as half a month of inventory, or in some it's maybe 2 or 3 months. So just keep in mind that each area is unique. Some areas are, a little bit more deprived of inventory. But the whole point of this is, as a buyer, if you're choosing to buy a home right now, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, this is a great time to be buying. And especially with a program like what Jerry has, this program called
CashReady.
CashReady.
Yep.
I definitely would say if you're somebody who is really generally looking for something and you just feel like you don't know how to make that offer so that your offer stands out, Jerry is a perfect person for you to reach out and talk to. And you can also call me. I'd be happy to talk with you.
Absolutely.
Because we have experience, but we also have knowledge about what's available. And we don't make assumptions. Your situation is yours. The next person, that's their situation. And we don't discuss, each person. We don't talk about each other. So it's a good time to call.
It is. And I just want to preface this. I mean, here at Rate, in my branch, all my loan officers, we are 100% transparent in this full process. And you'll maybe see people that had a bad experience with their lender or whatnot because maybe they used an online lender. They got a pre-approval and they literally just got a letter saying they can afford this much, and that's it. They didn't get any numbers, any knowledge, knowledge on the process, how things work. We've been doing this so long, we know exactly how it works. We could probably both be real estate attorneys if we need to be. But the thing is, it's very important you have a lender that's transparent, because we're going to give you like a detailed loan summary on different examples for different homes on exactly what it's going to look like on the day of closing. I don't want to say exactly, but very close to what it will look like on the day of closing, as far as what you need to bring in, what your payment's going to be. Everything's fully transparent up front, so you know before you make your offer, so you know what you're getting into basically when you go to make your offer, right? So,
and I'll take that one step further. As a buyer's agent as well as a seller's agent, one of the things that I always suggest is that we get a net sheet so that you understand what is your payment going to look like, with the understanding that there are some items that may not be included. But for what it's worth, most people buy on the monthly payment. I don't think we understand that just as much as, if I'm a young buyer and I'm looking for a home, I want to know what's my bottom line. Well, not only can I do a buyer's net sheet, which is pretty much in reason, but we go directly to someone like Jerry, who he can work out those numbers for you. And it really does pay. If you're someone who is planning on bringing money to the table for a closing, I can only give you one more piece of advice, and that is, do not put money into your account the week before, the day before closing. The underwriters want to see that money is seasoned in your account.
Yep.
So if you're getting a gift, which is very likely, you could be getting a gift from your parents, get that money sitting in your account and be able to explain where did that money come from.
Right. The nice thing is there are some changes coming on the forefront, and the big one is we're going to be able to fully be able to count cryptocurrency as assets. So that's going to help with reserves and help with people's accessing that for their down payment. And in the past, that was almost impossible to do. But that is on the forefront and coming. So we're here to guide you through, what's coming up. I just want to say one last thing, because I hear this all the time from my buyers, and I have to correct them a lot, in where, they want to wait for interest rates to come down. And here is the problem with that, guys. You can always renegotiate the rate that you get, and the rates aren't even that horrible. I just locked in a conventional 6.5% just now, an FHA at 6.1. I mean, they're not bad. Those are very good rates. The average rate in our country since we've been keeping track is 7.25% is like the average. So we're even below that. But don't wait on the rate. You can always renegotiate that. What's going to happen is when these rates do come down, everyone that's telling me they're going to wait on the rate, guess what they're going to be doing? They're going to be out there buying the houses. And then when it comes to supply and demand, what does that mean? That means the prices are going to go up. So,
well, and there's so many more people in the market. So it's not a win to wait.
Well, that's the thing, because the supply and demand. So now there's even less homes on the market, and now there's so many more people wanting to buy a home because the rates came down 0.25% or 0.5%. But you were the smart one that bought now, and then I'm calling you up saying, hey, let's refinance you down 0.5% lower. We'll do a no closing cost refinance. It won't cost you anything. And now you got the house for cheaper and your rate's lower, rather than someone that's waiting, and then you're building the appreciation faster, sooner, because these homes are appreciating very quickly. So,
well, I hope you all have learned a lot through this experience, that there is so much more to purchasing a home than having a realtor show you a house by just opening up the door and saying, here you go.
Yeah.
Because our job isn't just to show a home as if we were Vanna. We're here to help you understand what's available, as well as the opportunities that are here for you. So if you're on the fence, this is a great time to be giving us a call.
Yep. It's a journey. Sometimes you're ready to go right away. Sometimes people need to wait a little bit, but we're here to help you along your journey from start to finish. And even after you close, we'll still be here. Believe me, we have lifelong customers that come back to us all the time, and we always keep in touch and make sure everything works out like you want, like a plan.
Am I right to assume in the description of this video will be your contact information?
That's correct, and so will yours. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, very
Thank
good.
you.
And like and subscribe, I think we're supposed to say. So
yes.
Thank you, everyone.